All right, so in class we've been looking at Yayoi Kusama's work, which we can see here again. And if you remember, she loves to use pattern and she loves to use color. So we're going to be practicing those things again today. Another thing that she makes paintings, which we can see on the wall, and she makes sculptures, which we can see on the floor. So let's go back to some pumpkin sculptures. Here is a pumpkin sculpture. The difference between a sculpture and a painting is that a sculpture is 3D. We can walk all the way around it. It's like a real object in space. So if we were here, we could walk all the way around this pumpkin and there would be something on every side. A painting is flat. It has one side. Like a lot of the things we draw in class, it's one-sided. We could put it on the wall and still see everything. So paintings and drawings are flat. Sculptures are 3D. We can walk around them. They're like real objects. We could pick them up if they're small enough, or we could walk around and see all the sides of them. So today we're actually going to make some sculptures out of paper. So last week we made some pattern monsters that were drawings. We could put those on the wall, but today we're going to make paper sculptures by folding our paper. So our drawings, our creations will be able to stand up and we can call them sculptures because they stand up. We could pick them up. They're not only flat. So here are 3 steps which I will show you in the next part. First, we're going to cut some strips of paper, then we're going to fold them in half, and then we're going to draw on them to create our little characters that stand. Alright, so to make these, we're going to need some paper, whatever kind you have is fine, some scissors, and something to draw with. Crayons or markers, pencil, whatever you have. So first, we're just going to cut and fold. So we're going to cut our paper straight across to make long rectangles. So if you have your paper like this, we're going to cut all the way from one side all the way to the other to make these thin, long rectangles that we're going to fold. So I'm going to take my paper here and cut all the way across it. Now I have one long rectangle. You can cut the rest of your paper if you have more, the same way. Straight across. I'm going to make 4 rectangles with mine, but however much paper you have is fine. So now that we have our long rectangle strips, we're going to fold them. So to fold them in half, we're going to take one end. You can do this on your table too, it's probably easier. But we're going to take one end and bring it all the way over to meet the other end. Then once you have this, you're going to press down on this folded part. So if I were on the table, I'd press down on this folded part to make it stay. Now my paper is folded, it should look like this. So you can go back and watch that part if you need to, but we're folding them in half. Then we're ready to draw. So once I have my paper folded, we're going to draw those pattern monsters we talked about last week. We practiced them. So draw whatever shape you want. Add those details like eyes and mouths and arms and legs. Maybe I'll give this one a hat, just for fun. And then it needs a pattern, right? So maybe this one is just going to get polka dots. I like that. So remember, a pattern needs to repeat. It needs to happen over and over again, all over your monster. Now is the fun part. We can make it stand up. So on your table or wherever you're working, you separate the 2 sides and you can make it stand up like that. Another important thing to remember when you're drawing your monster, the top of it needs to be at the fold. So before you're about to draw and you fold it, make sure the fold is at the top, not the two parts that separate like this. You want the fold at the top, and that's where you'll draw its head. Its feet go by the part where it separates so that when you stand it up, it won't be upside down. So now you can draw your other ones, however many folded pieces of paper you have.